Welcome to the Dalen Show. What's going on, people? So good to see you. So good to be back with you guys. Man, it's first of all, I want to say my apologies for being gone for about a little over 2 months now. It's just school's been crazy for myself, and also if you've been following along with my social media pages, and of course, Ole Miss football. Heck of a run in the regular season, then going into the playoffs, beating Tulane in Georgia, then being able to go to Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl. Been so caught up with that, but it's obviously been a blessed journey to be a part of that and experience that moment with so many people. So I just kind of been tackling in with football in school over the last few months. So we're back though. Season 5 still going. Got a few more episodes we're going to get out before then, and obviously some big news coming in with that as well. Soccer Talk is back. That episode number 5, I think we recorded earlier this week. It will be dropping very soon in the bloopers reel. So coming soon. We're back. We're good. Cardinals Talk. Everything's coming back. I promise. We're good. We're getting back into the motion of things. Don't worry. I'm okay. I'm good. I know you guys know I'm okay, but I know you guys haven't seen me post an interview in a minute, and I've just been focused on football and school, but we're back. Let's getting back in the grind of it. So welcome to the Dalen Show. If you're new, apologize for my rambling. If you're new, I'm Dalen Flowers, your host. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like. It helps us keep growing the show. It's free. It only takes a second to do, so make sure you keep doing that. And also share the video. Man, welcome to episode number 24. And as I keep on rambling while I do it, let's introduce our guest for today's episode, Mr. Josh Acker. Woohoo!
Appreciate you having me, Dalen. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming on, man. How's first of all, how's life treating you, brother? How's life going on right now?
Life has been going, man. One thing that my brother and my friends always reiterate is slow motion better than no motion. So even though things have been a little slow, it's still great to kind of be going in a direction where I feel like God is leading me and also the people around me. So yeah.
I like that. I meant to steal that. Man, y'all put that on the show a little bit more before. I like that, man. Josh, before we dive into conversation real quick, just I like my guests to kind of interact with people watching and listening. So really quickly, if you don't mind, you just share a few things about yourself, where you're from, what you do in your life, and just maybe some things that people want to know about you before we kind of dive into who you are in our conversation.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, just want to say appreciate Dalen for giving me the opportunity to come on his podcast and just really give y'all insight of what my story is and who I am. So as you already mentioned, I'm Josh Acker. Believe it or not, I'm from Starkville, Mississippi. Yes, where the other school is. I'm not going to say any names, but we already know where that school is located. Wasn't born there, but grew up there. And you were probably asking a lot of questions of what I will answer later on in this interview is what made me want to go there. I always felt like I wanted to be a rebel. A lot of that is going to go in detail of what I talk about today. But yeah, came here in 2023. Had the opportunity to be a part of the football team while I was here, from transferring from East Mississippi Community College. And now I have the opportunity to be a part of the university as an admissions counselor here. So also balancing being a full-time grad student as well. So got a full plate, but truly thankful to be in the position I'm in and grateful to be where I am and where I'm going to be. So that's a little bit about myself because I got to save for the pod. I can't answer everything right now, but yes, where I was born, Starkville, Mississippi, and what I'm doing now. I'm an admissions counselor for the school.
We're going to dive into, obviously, some of those things you just talked about. But first of all, I just kind of want to, stay on the recent topic. Just for you, man, I was kind of became like a thing of mine to, figure out where you were at all the games and kind of find you and come speak to you. But just for you, man, a former player of Ole Miss and obviously having a strong love for the university, just what was it like for you to be able to watch this team this year and be able to travel with the team to New Orleans, to Phoenix, to be able to be in the vault for the host ever, first ever college football playoff game? Just for you, what was this season like for you as a fan?
Man, what can I say? It's been a roller coaster of emotions from the start of the season to the end. I can't express enough how exciting, how it was just, you can't describe it in words at times because you just had to be there. Mm-hmm. But to kind of paint a picture for a lot of people is to know that being a native from Mississippi and seeing the historical run that they went on this year is it was unbelievable from start to finish. Now, obviously, there were some times where, I would miss it because I was a former player, like you mentioned, and wanting to be a part of something special is the reason why I came here to Ole Miss. Now I was able to be a part of some historic seasons while I was playing, but this to see how they battled through so much adversity throughout the year, and also being able to watch it in person was something that I forever be able to carry on with myself. I know for a fact, one thing that stood out to me, just the support from the Ole Miss family through thick and thin, through so many things that I'm not gonna dive deeply into, but it was just something that seeing that from the outside looking in for the very first time in my life after playing football for nearly all of my all of my life, it was something that really showed me that, like, hey, this community and this team that this community has brought together has been something that you don't get often. And I'm just glad to be able to witness it from start to finish. And to just go off that postseason run. That's something that I never forget. I was having really bad FOMO with my with my parents and with just in general. I just said I gotta go to New Orleans. I have to go to Arizona. And maybe my pockets are still kind of trying to recover a little bit from it, but it was all worth it, man. And that's something that I'm so glad, because a lot of people be like, man, you so Ole Miss. And it's just like, yeah, because blood, sweat, and tears have been put into this school. So to be able to witness the run that they went on, to be able to witness the game that they had in New Orleans, not necessarily upsetting Georgia. I feel like we've starting to get their number now and showing that we can really compete. And also the Fiesta Bowl didn't have the desired outcome that we wanted, but those guys fought hard, and I was glad to be able to witness that.
Yeah, man. It was just blessings to be a part of it. Like it's I feel like it's different when you're at those schools that, this is normal for them, or this is I guess the historic expectation. I guess you could say Ole Miss is now moving in that direction, but to be a part of it, like,
Mhm.
I haven't even really sat back and thought about it like this, but now that we're talking, it's like this is history, man. Like in 100 years, people are going to be talking about this run. People are going to be talking about this team and all the drama they went through, but also all of the wins that came part of it as well. And it's like, to be a part of that is amazing. To think back, to really think back and just kind of sit in it. So like I'm just grateful that I was able to do that, and grateful that people like you and a lot of fans were able to witness that, because I had so many conversations with so many alumni, and these are people that have been through a lot of heartbreak, and not just recent heartbreak in terms of, maybe missing out on the playoffs in 2024, or, the Sugar Bowl in 21, like actual, rough years, maybe winning 3 games, missing out, not winning a single conference game. And so to be able to experience that for those people as well was really kind of refreshing for me as well. So, Josh, I kind of want to go into, you talked about it, but man, what was, I guess, growing up in Starkville like? And also you talked about it, bro, just where did that love for football even come from at a young age? Like what got you into football?
I can definitely say my dad helped out a lot with not necessarily grooming me, but just showing me, hey, this sport can really change your life. Growing up, they made sure, him and my mom, to put me in things that kept me active. So growing up, I didn't just only just play football. I played as many sports as I possibly could. Probably played soccer for like one season, played football, played basketball, played baseball all the way up into my ninth grade year. But yeah, my dad was a huge influence on my life when it came to that. And he would just always talk about how it changed his life as well. A lot of people don't know that he also went to East Mississippi. So I followed in my dad's footsteps whenever I went to East Mississippi. And then from there, he went to Arkansas State University, where he was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame there. And also not too far recently in the Sports Hall of Fame for JUCO in Mississippi and at Hines Community College, I want to say last year. So my dad has left his mark in college football. He has, and it motivated me a lot to, follow in his footsteps no matter where I went, and having the opportunity to carry on the legacy of his name and what he had done. And oftentimes or not, it's funny whenever he talks to people, and he was like, it's a flex at times to be able to say, hey, you can Google me. So that's one of the things that people know about my dad whenever I go back home, or whenever somebody may recognize him and they say, oh, you're James' son. And it's just something that had helped me to be like, I wanted to be just like my dad. And he told me that hard work gets you to wherever you need to be in life. That's where it helped him to start the business that he has. He owns a painting business in Starkville where he's been nominated on numerous occasions as the best painter in the Golden Triangle area. So it showed me a lot and taught me a lot about life, of how you can build a name for yourself no matter what your life started out as. And being able to see that play out in real time helped me to become and grow, and not only into the player but into the man that I am today. So yeah, that's where it really started, along with help of other individuals as well. But my dad was the primary and main reason why I do what I do, and why I became the type of player I am in person I am.
Okay, you talk about your dad. Was there, if anybody at all, was there like a college or professional athlete that maybe you didn't really necessarily mimic your game around, but was there, who were some of your favorite players growing up watching on the TV screen as a kid?
Um, so many, man. I'm gonna get into the exact one, but before I get into about him, just any of the SEC Heisman winners that came and played in Starkville against Mississippi State, I was able to witness Cam Newton in person
Hmm.
early in the season. But to be able to say, hey, I was able to watch him whenever he played against Mississippi State in 2011. I was able to see Johnny Manziel. I was able to see Joe Burrow. I was able to see a lot of Alabama's star players to come through, and to be
Yeah.
able to watch it and be able to watch that and see that. A lot of people don't understand, like, that does something to you, and at times maybe capture a picture here and there with those players, like post game or pre game. So a lot of those players definitely, influenced my game a lot. So I took a lot of that. Oh, I wanted to have an impact like him. Oh, they just had a great game on Saturday. And growing up playing Pee Wee ball, our games was on Saturdays. Or, whenever I got older and games started being on Thursdays and Friday nights, it was like, man, I want to have a big performance like how they have big performances on weekends. And you just see how they just shift the culture. They shift the landscape of college football, of how much of a game changer they are. And I've always wanted to mimic that. Now, direct contact, I gotta mention my brother. He's not my blood brother, but took me in and has shown me a lot, even to now that I'm done playing football. AJ Brown, to have that type of connection, and to have someone that not only pours into you as a player but as a person. He showed me a lot and gave me a lot of advice that you don't have a lot of access to, let alone to one of the best receivers in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And he gave me a lot of great pointers, and will bring back and spread it amongst the community. And that's what a lot of people don't know, is that when he would come back home, when he was on break from Ole Miss or his first couple years in Tennessee, he would have a training session with me, and I would be sharing that same knowledge with other people. And that's why I felt like we were so good over the years, is because that access. And I can definitely say those people definitely influenced my game a lot, outside of like guys like Odell Beckham. Anybody that knows me back during that time knows that I was a OBJ fanatic. Still is to this day. Like, he changed the culture of the game as well. But definitely those people is in my life that impacted the way that I played.
I love that. I guess I kind of want to ask you as well. You said that you played a plethora of sports growing up. What all did you play growing up, and I guess how did you kind of find the fitting to stick to football more than the other sports as the time went on?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So as you start to get older and older, you see that you just cannot rely on your talent anymore. And I had always been very talented growing up. So I started to see that the playing field started to get even. I couldn't roll over from football to now basketball, from basketball to baseball, and not practice and hone in on my skills from those sports very, very intentionally.
Yeah.
Now, needless to say, I was still able to use the athleticism to my advantage, and have great performances. But the older and older I realized, I was like, oh no, I need to put the time and effort into these sports. So my story of how I feel like made this decision for me as I got older, it really started in ninth grade. I played basketball, baseball, and football, all three of those sports, all the way up until ninth grade. Tried out for basketball, didn't make the basketball team. So I was like, you know what? That's my sign. The only thing left at that time was just football and baseball. At that time, baseball was just so um, conflicting for how I was growing into a new person. And it was just not something that was able to pour into a lot of time in, because at that time I was dealing with an injury coming into my ninth grade year, and I didn't get to play that whole year. And when I came back, going up to the plate instead of at least making contact with the ball, I'm seeing curveballs for the first time. I'm seeing changeups, not being able to perform, and then making a transition from playing infield my whole life into now I'm playing outfield. So that kind of did something to me mentally, but I didn't realize at the time, like, oh, the fastest players on the team, they play outfield, but I took it as like, no, I wanted to play infield. So when things like that started happening, I prayed on it, obviously wisdom and guidance from my parents as well. I was like, you know what, we finna just go all in with football. And since that moment, making that transition of just strictly focusing on football, my life has been different and changed for the better ever since.
Take me back to senior year of high school. I know you mentioned your dad, but like, what were maybe some of the other college decisions that you were looking at? What were some of the other schools you were looking at, maybe other than East Mississippi? And what kind of made the conclusion be, let's go attend East Mississippi at that time for you?
Yes. So the recruiting process for me was, not as what I desired to be, but it's something that I definitely needed. I was getting recruited by Austin P. And I went to a camp to go to a skills camp there going into my senior year, and they offered me that day when I came down for the camp. And it was something like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm about to begin to start taking off. You start out small, and then you can just continue to keep growing. They continued to press on with me, send good luck messages. Hey, we see you doing well. And I was having a great year. I scored every single game except for two. But other than that, double-digit touchdowns by the end of the season. Great yardage. I didn't reach 1,000, but if you turn on the tape, I was definitely making some plays, in my opinion. And I was just having an overall great senior year. So I was like, who wouldn't want to give a player like this, even though he's a little undersized, an opportunity to come play at their university? Well, the season goes on. The coach actually came to my game where I had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. He left during halftime. He had left during halftime. So I was like, yeah, I'm for sure secured on their board. Like, I did my part. From that day forward, I had never heard back from him ever again. So it was just a crazy situation with mine and with my recruiting process. I wasn't highly recruited out of high school, if I'm being honest. Outside of East Mississippi, where I had made my decision to go, Austin P and Mississippi Valley State, nobody else really talked to me. But I knew for a fact that I could see myself playing at the level that I had the opportunity to play 2 years ago and 3 years ago. So that's how my senior year was. But needless to say, had a lot of fun. Had the year that I wanted. That was my best year of football, outside of like the memories I created here. But stats wise and performance wise, that was my best year of football. Mm-hmm.
What was just, I guess, diving into East Mississippi now for you? What was that experience like, man? I know, for me, being able to talk to some guys and experience some of their stories, man, those are some of the, I guess, the best times for some guys. But there's also so many opportunities where you're learning so much about yourself and your body, because you're grinding in a way. Some people would say harder than guys that maybe are at Division I, because you're trying to prove yourself to a different matter. But just for you, what was that experience like at East Mississippi?
One of one. I am so thankful for the opportunity to be able to go there despite all the ups and downs from the start to finish. It was all worth it. And typically, instead of going to a junior college for 2 years, I had to go there for 3 because I came in during COVID. And the first year that we were there, we opted out that season, and we was devastated because that's something that all we knew. But it kind of shifted not only who I was and my identity, but not only that for me, but a lot of people that was around me as well. So that bond, I'm still talking to guys that I played with to this day. We still getting connected. And that's something that I realized wasn't offered at a lot of other places. And also, before I kind of get into like my time at East Mississippi, most people think whenever you go to junior college, you're going there because you either got in trouble or you have bad grades. For me, that was never the case. I just wanted to get more attention on me recruiting wise so I can go to my desired school, which was Ole Miss. And during that process, it was something that set the foundation for myself. I had the opportunity to really learn who I was, not only as a player, but as a person. And it was dog days. It was days where, junior college, you just don't have the resources. You don't. You just have to literally make something out of nothing, and you're depending on other people while you're doing it as well. And everybody has a common goal, which is to get out, go to a better school, go and achieve your dream of going to the next level. And it was a lot of tough times there because sometimes you don't see that. You don't think that you'll be able to get to that dream that you always desired. Or you will see guys, countless amounts of examples. I would see guys come from other Power Five schools and one last more than 2 weeks. So it was also confirmation, but it was also like, dang, like this is really real in a sense of this experience of like, you can either make it or you could be broken if you come to the junior college level and be able to have the opportunity to do what you want to do. So me going through all of that, I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. It literally set the foundation up for who I've become today, and I'm so thankful for that experience as an entire whole. Despite the ups and downs, I am truly grateful for my time at East Mississippi. Scuba Tech.
I'm gonna put you on the spot with this one, but if you
Yeah.
had the opportunity to, I guess, speak to a young athlete that maybe is in the situation of, not getting recruited from schools maybe they wanted to out of high school and is having to go a different route to get to where they want. What would you kind of just, if you were in a room with some guys like that, or even young ladies, what would you want to say to them? What advice would you give to them?
I would say keep going. And I know that's kind of like a cliche statement, but that's all I really could do is just to continue to allow it to fuel you. There's nothing up to date in my life, and I'm trying to find something in my life to have that same pursuit that I had. You cannot tell me that I was not gonna be here. You cannot tell me that I was not gonna have the opportunity to go play for Ole Miss. So I did whatever it took. I contacted, went to camps knowing maybe I was one of the oldest at the camp. Like these camps are meant for high school people, but stepping out of my comfort zone to the max. Always telling people, whether it was back at home or even to the people around me, like, yeah, I may be being recruited by this other school, but I just know I'm an SEC receiver at heart. Like, and use that as fuel to motivate you to just continue to keep striving for what you want and don't settle. I would tell younger athletes to take the risk, take it. You never know what could happen. I knew that I could never have lived with myself if I went and played at another school, knowing that I would have had probably been their number one receiver. I probably would have had the same performances that I had in high school. But for me, I could not envision myself at any other place except for Ole Miss, and that's what I wanted to do. And I went and did it, and was the best decision that I made for myself. So for the ones that are under recruited, don't become discouraged. And it was a lot of times I would come in and be like, am I even good enough? Knowing that I had the capabilities of playing here, which clearly showed over time. And we will have doubts, but don't fuel it. Don't do that. And one thing that I can think of is just something that one of the coaches, Coach Sawyer, he's at LSU right now. He would say, you gonna feed what wolf? You gonna feed the good wolf or you gonna feed the bad wolf? So sometimes you'll feed the good wolf. He'll be like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. But make sure you feed the good wolf more than you feed the bad wolf. And that's definitely what I did. And it was a lot of, I wouldn't necessarily say backlash, but some people won't support your decision. It may be family, it may be close friends, but do what your heart is calling you to do, and you'll be thankful that you did it. 100%.
Thank you for that. I hope that touches somebody. They go around, because that's what I do this for. And I appreciate your honesty and authenticity with that answer, man. I really do. Man, I guess simply just why Ole Miss, man? Like, what made Ole Miss that the spot that you just wanted to be in part of it and want to call home so bad? Like, why Ole Miss?
For numerous reasons. I had family that went here. My sister graduated from here. My brother, as I mentioned earlier, AJ Brown went here, was also another influence in my life. But also, I just knew that I always had a little bit of rebel in me. And I just really like the school colors. I just couldn't see myself in maroon and white. I'm going to just be honest. That's just like something small, but it was just like, I love Nike. People talk about, what is your favorite brand? I love Nike. And when they started the retro, bringing back the powder blue uniforms and things of that nature, there's something small. But if I'm being honest, every time that I started to come up here during my time at East Mississippi, whether it was once or twice a year, I always had a great time. You know, the Oxford community took me in with open arms before I was even a part of it.
Yeah.
And every single time that I would come, I would just be like, man, the energy here is crazy. Like people have fun 24/7. People are always smiling. And I would encourage people if they ever have the opportunity to come to Oxford, just look around. Just look at how you just see, even when not or you're just driving, you people see people jamming to that music and you it's never a dull moment here. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
So it was something that I always prayed for. And then also seeing other people that was a part of the program, Luke Altmaier, he was a huge influence. And knowing that he was my quarterback at Starkville High School, that helped me have a lot of success going into my senior year. I definitely wanted to connect that relationship and that bond on the field. So I would always tell him, be like, hey man, just give me a little bit more time. I know you may be wanting to go in the portal, but I'm on the way. I'm on the way. Obviously he's done a great job of what he's doing, did at Illinois is getting prepared for the draft. But it was just so many other factors. And I felt like God truly called me to be here. You
Yeah.
know, it's times where I have literally shedded tears of like, God, I see why you made me wait. I see why you made me take the detour, even though I wanted to come out of high school so bad and come to this school. But I started to realize I wasn't ready. He was just molding me and helping me grow into what I really wanted to be while I'm being here. And oftentimes people, like I said earlier, people are like, you're so Ole Miss. It was because like you don't know what it took to get here. You don't know what God put me through and all the things that I had to go through to get here. So it was just something that I always knew that this was home for me, and it still is. I It's gonna be very hard to say goodbye to this place. I don't know how long God gonna keep me here, but I can say that I am so glad to be a part of this university and have done some of the things, connected with some of the people like you and others that I've connected with, and just it's never a dull moment here, and it's confirmation every single day I step outside my house of being able to see like-minded people like myself and be like, hey, I was meant to be here. I really was meant to be here.
Um, could you, if you could, explain just like the walk on process, because
Yeah.
how does it work? Like, do you still have to go through like recruiting tours? That you have to try out? Like, can anybody just walk on? Like, for people that may not understand what a walkthrough has to go through to actually be a part of the team and actually get to the school, describe it if you could to people that really may not know much about it.
Yeah, it's different for a little bit of everybody now. Like I said, God truly blessed me to go through the process like I did. I didn't have to try out. I was able to use my networking of people that I knew that knew somebody,
Mhm.
and all they said was like, "Hey, you have a spot on the team, but obviously you gonna have to work to keep that."
Mhm.
Now, for the walk-on process, how it would be for other people, you do have to try out. The times that I've been able to connect with some of my best friends that had to go through that process, they showed up for tryouts probably around this time of the year. I don't know if it'll be in February or March, or if even if they're still holding walk on tryouts, because the whole scope of the NIL and how much it has changed. So that process looks different how it was back then for me, how it is now. But I'm just gonna speak on what I know and what it has looked like whenever I was playing. So you would try out, and then you would either receive a call, and just say in a perfect where you do receive that call. Then going through that process, you're on the team. From that process going forward, now you're trying to keep that spot on the team, and not only keep that spot on the team to see like, oh, can this guy actually play? And for me, I'm just so blessed because I didn't even realize it until Tulane weekend. I tell people this all the time. I didn't know that in college football you had a travel roster. I have always went to every single game and played in every single game and started in every single game since the third game of my junior year of high school.
Mhm.
So it was a little shock for me for be like, man, I'm going to a game where I'm probably not going to see much playing time, but I'm just blessed. I am. So as we're getting on the plane ride to go to Tulane, I was like, "Where's the rest of the team at?" And then I can't remember if it was Jaden Williams, the offensive lineman, or somebody else that I knew. I can't remember exactly who it was, but he was just like, "Congratulations, man, you made the travel roster." I was like, "Travel roster?" I was like, "The rest of the team ain't traveling." He was like, "Nah, this is the list. You made the cut." And from that moment, it had really hit me. I was like, "Man, all that hard work that I put in, like I made, like this is what it's all about."
Yeah.
So you have people that will walk on a team, but they're not going to away games. They're not going to be able to have the experience or be able to dress out on home game days. So the process looks a lot different for everyone. I'm just glad that I was able to maximize mine with being a walk on. And yeah, that's kind of what like the process looks like. So when I tell people as well, and I'm gonna stop speaking on that, with the scope of the NIL, I don't think it would be very knowledgeable to be a walk on any school. Now, if you're in a great financial situation, do that. But with so much money going around, I would definitely not be on these Power Five teams. And that can be a statement that kind of, rubs the Power Five teams the wrong way because they need bodies. They want people to be on scout team and things of that nature. But my advice to be really real and transparent with other people, if you think you can make the travel roster and be able to have, at least for me, in a sense, special teams playing time, so that way you can see some of the fruits of your labor and then get subbed in late games when you're like blowing teams out, like do that. But if you don't want to put your mind, body, and sometimes soul into something that sometimes you can be a literal punt, like a dummy in practice, then I would advise you to just go to the lower level schools and perform there, and hopefully you get recruited by them so you can be on scholarship and get a little money in your pocket.
Um, First of all, thank you for being real right there because
Yeah.
I didn't. I've never even really thought about like the NIL landscape in that way, honestly. And you just provided a bit of insight for myself, but I'm sure a lot of athletes didn't either. Real something to think about. So I appreciate you for saying that.
Yes.
But I want to ask you, just go back, think about your collegiate career as an athlete. What
Yes.
are maybe your favorite, or what are some of your favorite moments that you were a part of as a collegiate athlete? Like, what's some of those moments that stick out that you always remember?
hmm Um, I think any athlete wants to win the big one. So I can name off the top of my head and I just go down the timeline of it all. My favorite memory was winning a state championship. One of my favorite memories was winning the state championship at East Mississippi. All throughout high school, that was my goal. I wanted to bring Starkville a state championship so bad. We hadn't had a state championship since my brother had won, AJ Brown. And I wanted to win a state championship for the city so bad, and we would fall short every single year that we played. My sophomore year, played against Pearl. They went on a historical run, 16-0, won that year, my sophomore year. My junior year, we played against N'Kobe Dean, which we obviously know what he's doing right now. Plays as a starting linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. He beat us in the second round single-handedly by himself. And my last and senior year, played against JJ McGee's Oxford legend. Literally just got the keys to the city. The mayor, he beat us in North half of my senior year. So it's just like when you see that and you put so much work in, so much time, so much effort, and you continue to fall short, it definitely does something to you. And that's something that I always wanted to be a part of. I wanted to ingrain my name and the people around me name in history to last forever. So being able to be a part of that moment, it was like, man, it was very fulfilling in a way to be like the hard work paid off. And I was so grateful for that. Moving forward, one of my favorite memories was in 2023 when I was able to come home and we won the Egg Bowl. That was something, like I said, I always wanted to be a part of that game. And it's so crazy to kind of envision. I want to paint another picture in your mind. You come back home and you go in a stadium where they don't like you. You see familiar faces booing you. You see people that doesn't like you to your core, all because of what you got across your chest and what you got on your back. But I felt so good being the villain that day, and it was so fulfilling to bring that golden egg back to Oxford where it rightfully belonged. And it was like a fulfillment. It was like fulfilling my prophecy in my life because I always wanted to be a part of that game, and to be a part of it and be able to be in it was something that I was so glad to be a part of. And probably the last one, it was bittersweet for me, but the Gator Bowl, my last game as an Ole Miss Rebel. Um, even though it was the end, but it was also the beginning of what was to come. So that those three memories are really the ones that were some of my favorite memories. Yeah, of being a collegiate athlete. Mhm.
Okay. Um, Graduate now, I guess, kind of in the real world. I've seen you
Yes.
talk about it a little briefly, but just I guess deep dive into it a little bit with me as well. But just what's it like now, kind of being outside of athletics for the first time in your life, basically, and now kind of doing things that I'm sure you're loving, but as well, that big piece and chunk of your life is just kind of like gone now. What's it like being an athlete that is a part of you forever, but now being in the real world and not being an athlete anymore? Like how has life kind of changed for you in that aspect?
Let me just say it has flipped my world upside down. To having to adjust to society norms now. And I recently spoke on this on my TikTok page about how you go from having your full day planned out, having people continue to push you in direction to be the best, not only athlete, but best person you could be in the classroom, and having being surrounded about so many people and so many resources, to now, like, okay, I have to create my own schedule. Oh, I don't have to be somewhere at a certain time. I don't have to do a certain thing anymore as I once did, and to the extent that I used to do it. So it flipped my world upside down to a point where I am so glad that within myself, I already had a sense of identity of who I was.
Yeah.
And that was my identity as a follower of Christ. And I can only imagine, and I've spoken on this on numerous occasions, and might try to turn it into a series myself, of how many people have had a sport a part of their life for so long, and now they have to step into that space or go back into environments that they shouldn't go back to, and what sports help them get out of, and not only get out of, but be productive of whatever 4-year institution that they were at, or even junior college. And for me, one thing that I don't want to say, but it really is a reality, it definitely got worse before it got better. It did. And having to figure out what was next, having to find and apply for jobs, having to build my resume, and having to do different things on my own, that I was like, man, I wish somebody would have told me this is what the real world really consists of. But it has all been a learning process. And the more and more you continue to allow yourself to feel those feelings, because they are real, to miss your sport, to miss the team camaraderie, to miss the scheduling, to miss the late night, early mornings, and having something to work towards. Now, that same energy and time that you put into your respective sport, you have to put that into everyday life now. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to figure out what is something else that I could work towards. It's not semester to semester anymore. Now it's by year basis. What do I see myself doing 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now? All of that has helped me realize, like, hey, this is what the real life is now. So that's kind of been my thought process about it all, and trying to adjust day to day, even in right now where I'm currently sitting, trying to do something that you're doing, start my own podcast. It's something that I've constantly had to tell myself, you cannot stop trying to learn. The moment you stop trying to learn, ask questions, go through trial and error, as long as it's not a big risk. Well, I feel like eventually I'm going to take another big risk, like how I did by making the decision to come here. But it's all about doing what you feel like is going to help you become the person that you need to be now outside of your sport. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned your faith, and that's something I wanted to bring up to you because I realized, especially lately, it's just something that you've become very vocal about, and it's something that actually my mentor, I met with him this morning, he actually brought it to me that I'm becoming more vocal about too. Just, I guess, number one, why is faith so important to you? But secondly, why is being vocal about it also so important to you as well?
Um, it's something like growing up. I don't know if you probably have seen this trend on TikTok. It's be like, I know God, but now I he knows me, or I used to know God, but now I know Him now. Like the difference between the knows. Um, when I see how far He's brought me, and see how my life has been. It could have went into such a totally different trajectory since the moment I was born to the moment of when I decided I wanted to come here. It's something that the way he showed up in my life, I have always been like, I want other people to experience that. It's not necessarily me showing that, hey, he uses it in a way of where he's trying to show it to be like, oh, this is the great life. Like it's not. If we go to his word where he says James 1:2, consider it joy, my dear brothers and sisters, when you go through various trials, for the testing of your faith, faith will produce endurance. I've been through it, man. I've been through so much leading up into my life, and I want to encourage and tell anybody else that is watching it. My life up until this moment has not been all sunshine and rainbows. It has not been perfect. I am willing to tell you straightforward that anything that I have done to get to where I am now, there were a lot of tough times. It was. And I went through my own respective battles just like everybody else go through their own respective battles. But the reason why I am so vocal about it to show people like, hey, he gave me that strength to continue to keep showing up in a building, not knowing if I would get the opportunity to get receiver reps on a game day, but I get a million in practice. He gave me that strength to continue to keep showing up, even when my body and my mind is tired. He continued to keep giving me that strength, even when people are telling me that, man, you're doing such a good job, but I don't feel that inside. So I just want to encourage people and let people know whenever I speak about my faith, I try my best to tell people, I don't want you to see me. I want you to see him and how he's worked through me through all of my shortcomings, through all of my blessings, and through all of my whole journey of what had got me into here. So when you say why my faith, why am I, bringing it such a light? Because I understand what my life would look like without him and with him. And I can tell you to the fullest extent, my life without him was not fulfilling. My life without him was not where I wanted to be. My life without him was not exactly the version of myself that it when I look at it, it's like I don't even want to even look at that person. But I have seen how he's worked through me in times when I continue to seek his kingdom, when I continue to just allow him to work through me and work through the people that surround me. Like when you see that difference and he reveals that to you, your outlook and your perspective on life shifts in a manner like none other. And that's what I want people to see as well too whenever they're on that walk. Try him. Try him. Give him the opportunity to be like, God, I've been doing it my way. Even last year, Dalen, if I'm being honest with you, I did it my way last year. And I guarantee you, moving forward into this year, I cannot do that again because it broke me. 2025 broke me. And I am not ashamed to say that. But I have named this, and I haven't made this publicly, but I have named 2026 for my year, for 2026, the year of restoration for myself. Everything that I felt like I had lost, football, a little bit, piece of my, which was not even a little bit, a lot of what people know me by. Not having a job for an extended period of time, trying to figure out what was next. I lost a lot of things, relationships with other people and places. I lost a lot last year, but I'm going into this year knowing that this will be the year of restoration, and I'm claiming that, and I want to be a blessing towards others, just like how other people have been a blessing towards me.
Man, that's deep. Because I saw something not too long ago, and it basically just said, you can't do this on your own. And I know you were in church Sunday, but Pastor Anderson preached a really good preach, just saying, basically, in the midst of God will put you in situations sometimes that you can't get yourself out of, and He does it on purpose so you can attest to Him, find faith in Him, find grace in Him to know that He will get you out of those situations. And I learned that a
Yes.
lot in 2025. It's like, why me sometimes? Why am I going through this? And it's not why me, it's why not me, and why
Yes.
have I not learned the opportunities to get myself out of this because I can't do it on my own. Like, that's where I
Yeah.
have to find the faith and the courage and the passion and trust in Him to know that He will get you out of it. So that's deep because, man, this is what I do this for. Like I get like a lot of people get different things out of episodes, but like if you have the same beliefs or not, regardless, just know you're not alone. In whatever circumstance it is, there's somebody, there's something, there's someone out there wanting and willing to help you. So I appreciate you for sharing that because that's really deep and that's really touching for me, and I hope touching for someone because I learned so much about myself in 2025. I learned that I need to heal from so many things. I learned that I need to grow spiritually in so many things, and they're just 2025 was a growth year for me. Like I learned so much through so much. And this year it's just like kind of you, like you said, it's what restoring, like healing, finding myself, staying consistent with things. Like, so I appreciate you for sharing that, man. I really do because that's touching, man. It really is.
I appreciate that, man. Absolutely.
Something I want to dive back real quick because before we wrap up the Ole Miss talk,
Mhm.
something that I mentioned to you that I kind of want to try to chat to you about because it's something that I have kind of experienced from the outside world, but I think it's a big topic that I think we need to have a talk about, especially because I know since the Lane Kiffin stuff, Stephen A. Smith has kind of been like the face of it, but like it's obviously a topic because of myself here, but also just people in general. I guess first of all, kind of give your perspective from if you've dealt with any personal things in terms of this. But I guess for me, some of those people, when it's not just people of different races, also black people as well, just kind of get that notion of me, like, why do you go to Ole Miss, or why would your parents send you to Ole Miss, or et cetera, et cetera. So I guess for you, when you see, I guess people like Stephen A. Smith say
Yeah.
things such as, the brothers ain't trying to go to Oxford, Mississippi, and kind of put this historical context on Ole Miss. Because don't get me wrong, I understand where I'm at. I understand the history. I know the things around me. Don't get me wrong on that.
Mhm.
But I think there's a reason James Meredith fought for integration at this school. I believe there's a reason there are people like Dr. Ethel Scurlock, who is the dean of the Honors College here, and a plethora of the black people that are very significant at this university. There's a reason why we're all here. But I guess for you, just I don't know how to like set the question up. Just for you, I guess like I said, like what does it mean to you when you hear people like Stephen A. say like stuff like that? And also, I guess just for you, what is the true meaning for you to be at Ole Miss? Because you hear so many things like that sometimes.
Um, you know, and I want to. I don't know if I watched his statement that he said to the fullest. And obviously Stephen A. Smith is at the pinnacle, if not, he is the pinnacle and the mecca when it comes to sports talk. And what I feel like his perspective on it all, it just needs a shift. We've had multiple people reach out to him, from my very own Keith Carter, from my very I don't know anybody else that may have reached out to him. You may be able to piggyback off that, but we've had people that want him to come down. And I want to say today, as of today, Coach Yo is talking to him today because it's this stigma that has been put on us. Obviously, we know the history. Me and you both know the history of Ole Miss and what it used to be. But I think a lot of people continue to go off there what used to be and what has happened, even whether it's recently or not. Me personally, since the time I've been here, I've never had anything happen to me. I've never had anything said to me, at least from somebody that is directly connected to this university or is like a fan. I've had one recent situation where somebody did say something out the way, but they wasn't even from here, so I don't even count that for real. And to me, the people of Oxford don't see color, at least when it's been with me. I can't speak on everybody else situation. And when I've had my time here, these people have welcomed me with open arms. And I can't thank them enough. I can't. And the Oxford community and what I feel like what Stephen A. Smith is trying to portray is that the reason why he feel like the quote unquote brothers are not coming here is because of the past. It's not what we're building. 99% of the time when you look at any SEC school in the South, 9 times out of 10, it is a predominantly black team. So what is going on here also goes on at other universities. I just don't appreciate the fact of the matter of when he speaks on us, he hasn't came here recently. I don't know when the last time he came to Mississippi. And Oxford, Mississippi is a beautiful place. And I know the moment that he steps down here, all of that is going to shift. Because for one, if I find out that he coming to Oxford, Mississippi, I'm gonna want to meet up with him myself and tell him, hey, I'm one of those brothers that you said that don't want to come to Ole Miss. You have people that are willing to do what they do and are great examples of it. Think about people, Will Eccles. Think
Yep.
about Sunterian Perkins. Think about Cam Franklin. Think about Pat Broomfield. These are guys that are Mississippi natives and intentionally chose to come to Ole Miss. So when you use this type of rhetoric or this type of speech of saying that we don't want to come here, that's not true because you haven't talked to any of us. You not have not taken the time out other than what your I feel like that's more of a personal opinion rather than any facts. Now, when you talk about from the NIL scope of things, yes, we are aware that other schools have more resources than us. The Texas, the Floridas, the LSUs, we are aware of that. So that is the reason why they probably would not want to come because who doesn't want to put more money in their pocket?
Yeah.
But I don't want him to associate that with they don't want to be here because of how it used to be. And I don't think he's making the distinction between those two. He's trying to connect and bridge both of them when that's not the case. The reason why kids of us, like brothers, don't want to come here is because of NIL, not because it's that they don't want to be in Oxford, Mississippi and come to Ole Miss. Because everybody, every athlete that comes through at Ole Miss knows that the Ole Miss community, especially if you're doing good, will like skyrocket your notoriety in a matter of weeks. If you look at week one from the football season up until now, how many Trinidad flags are in the city of Oxford? So you let that speak for itself. From the moment that the season started, when we played against I forgot who we played against first game of the season, Georgia State, I want to say. Yes, Georgia State, all the way up until we played that last game against Miami. You tell me how many Trinidad flags are in the city of Oxford. And
I
I'm
saw
gonna let
one with the Trinidad hat on yesterday, bro. Like at the basketball game, like it's deep.
exactly. So we make sure that our players are seen. We make sure that you have so many people that pour into these guys time and time again. You got even little stuff like Deuce Alexander. Every time he makes an explosive play, Deuce. You got the crowd. Like that's something that we gonna make sure that the players are felt like they are wanted here, and not only wanted, they are needed. He just re-signed and stay here. So um, yeah, that's kind of my take on it. Hopefully one of these days he decides to come up here instead of continue to speak on his platform and wherever he's at, because obviously he gonna have the final say so because First Take is his.
Yeah.
But I hope he has the opportunity to come see what all we got to offer, so he can come back on his shows and not necessarily give an apology, but be like, hey, I've had a shift in perspective.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
that because
absolutely.
people need to hear that. We need to speak out more about it. So I appreciate that a lot, man. Let me get you out of here soon, but I guess I know everything you're doing now post graduation is very important to you. But just I guess what is the end goal for you? Like, what's the long term goal? What does Josh Acker want to end up like? What's the means of possible for your future?
Um, I can see myself in so many places, and I've had the opportunity to kind of get a feeling of what my calling would be. And end goal is I just want to leave a legacy where people remember, like, hey, he was for the people. He always wanted to make sure that he had some positive impact no matter where he was, and he left a place better off than where he found it. And also, he was a God-fearing man. I always want people to see that within me, either through my, the things that I may put on social media or just how I carry myself on my daily walk. And what I'm starting to feel like the next step for me maybe is coaching. I had the opportunity to start my training business over this past summer and trained up some of the Oxford locals around here of kids, not only kids, but having the opportunity to train with Caden Priesthorn, who's a standout tight end that has found his way into the league. And I feel like if he gets shot at an opportunity to be one of those premier tight ends in the NFL, he can be that. So to see how natural that came to me, I wouldn't be mad if God allowed me to be one of the best coaches to ever do it. Why sit and be like, oh, I'm just going to be a position coach? No, there's times where I've said to myself, be like, hey, maybe I could be under the Lane Kiffin tree, just like how he was for Nick Saban. And then I'll be able to be a head coach to coach against him in a game. And he got me this time, but in a couple years from now, I know I'll get a win against him. So that's something that, I'm just gonna hold on to me, and whatever God got for me, I'm gonna just continue to go, not necessarily chase that, but allow Him to work through me to go achieve it, because that's all it is. It's just that we all in this race together, whether it's what you're doing, what I'm doing, and I just feel like that's what He wants me to do next if I continue to just listen to what He's telling me. So if coaching is what the end goal would be for me, I'm perfectly fine with it. To coach guys up to be like, hey, I went through some of the toughest things that you could ever go through as an athlete. Going through during college, having to stay there extra year, having to walk on, not getting the desired playing time that you may want offensively, not getting some of the things that you guys want. But I'm letting you know now that you can control one thing, and it's something that a coach at every level has said to me. You can control your attitude and your effort. And that not only applies to just football, it applies to life. And something that Nick Saban has said, he's not just coaching to coach players. He's coaching to make guys better men. And I know I can make, for the future generation, I know I can make better people and better men if I'm given the opportunity and platform to do as such. So yeah.
I love it, man. Last question. You kind of mentioned the legacy part, and you also give a piece of advice to an athlete earlier, but for this one, just, I guess, what would you want to say to someone in general about life? What advice would you want to give somebody to just keep going along within their day and their week?
Yes. My advice to someone in life is to continue to be who you are. I'm starting to realize more and more as I search within myself that you can't control another person. You can't control what somebody else does to you, says to you, or what they may want to be in your life. So control the controllable. Control what you can do as far as like becoming the best version of yourself. And that has shifted because I used to tell myself, like, hey, I wanted this to do this for the approval of other people. But now that's not the case anymore. At the end of the day, people are always going to talk. They're always going to say what they want to say. No matter if I go be a coach or not, people are going to be like, oh, why did you go be a coach? Okay, now I'm a coach now. Well, why are you coaching this team, or why are you coaching this way? It's because that's what I feel like is best for the kids. Oh, you need to do this and that. So people will always have something to say. Do what makes you happy. No matter what. Let them do what they're gonna do. And that's something that I got from this book that I'm reading called The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. She is a great person. I love her podcast. I need to watch more of it. But let them say whatever they want to. But let you continue to pour into yourself. Take your power back. Take your authority back. And as long as you got that, along with your faith, if you decide that you want to be a follower of Christ, you can't lose. Because once He's on your side, He may put you through some things, but you'll forever win. You always win.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Man, I think you'd be a pretty good coach. You uplifted me with your words and motivated me with your words. So I appreciate you for joining me, man. Like, this is what it's all about for me, man, to be able to share stories like this and get some motivation myself, but also hopefully allow the people to get it. So, man, thank you so much for giving me some of your time. And thank you for coming on and sharing your journey, your story, man. Prayers sent from the Dalen Show family to you on your success and your journey, man. Much love. We always support you, brother.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure that I had the opportunity to come on here. I appreciate you reaching out to me. Y'all continue to smash, not just press, but smash that like and subscribe button for my dog Dalen. It's gonna continue to go up, and once I get mine up and going, trust me, better believe he will be on the episode of mine as well. So tap in with him, man. He's doing some great things, and y'all continue to tune in to what he got going, because he's doing some great things, and I just love seeing people do what they love to do, and continue to grow and whatever they want to aspire to be in life as well too. So I appreciate you having me, Dalen, and as always, love this way, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Like Josh said, man, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment your favorite part of the episode and the interview. Leave a comment. Also, man, don't forget to get that merch. We got the zip hoodies out, man. They fly. They feel like a blanket, man. I love them. But my guy, again, appreciate you so much. This is a joyful episode 24. It's taking the last episode of season 5. We'll only be doing 25 episodes this season, so appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. If you're new, hope you enjoy. Go check out some of my previous episodes. This is season 5. We've done 4 years of this already. So there's a plethora of good episodes to listen to for you to check out. So thank you guys so much. God first. God bless.